The bracelet fell from Lana Torres's bag in slow motion, hitting the security office table with a sound that shattered her entire world. She stared at the glittering diamonds and sapphires, her mouth opening but no words coming out. The 4 security guards closed in like walls collapsing around her. "That's not mine," she whispered. The head guard's smile was cold. "They all say that." "No, you don't understand, I've never seen that before. Someone put it in my bag. Please, you have to believe me. Save it for the police." He reached for his radio. "We need units at Celestia Mall. We've got the thief." Lana's legs almost gave out. The word branded itself into her brain. Around her, the other guards whispered, their eyes crawling over her like insects. Through the office window, she could see mall shoppers stopping to stare, phones already out, recording her humiliation for the world to see. This couldn't be happening. 30 minutes ago, she'd been browsing jewelry for her sister's birthday. 30 minutes ago, her biggest problem was having $47 in her bank account. Now she was being accused of stealing a bracelet worth more than she made in 6 months. "I want to see the surveillance footage," Lana said, forcing strength into her voice. "Right now." The manager smirked. "Oh, you'll see it. Along with everyone else when this goes viral." He wasn't bluffing. Lana could already imagine it. Her face on social media, the comments, the judgment, the way her mother would cry when she saw it. Her chest tightened until she couldn't breathe properly. The door opened. Everyone in the room straightened immediately, and Lana knew whoever just walked in had power. Real power. She turned and felt her stomach drop. The man from the jewelry store. The one who'd been examining cufflinks while she'd been pathetically calculating whether she could afford a $89 bracelet. He was taller than she'd realized, dressed in a suit that probably cost more than her rent, and his eyes were the coldest thing she'd ever seen. "Mr. Wu," the manager stammered. "Sir, we weren't expecting you to. Show me the footage." His voice was quiet, controlled, and absolutely terrifying. "Damien Wu. Owner of the mall. Owner of half the city if the rumors were true. Billionaire. And judging by the way everyone in the room looked ready to bow, possibly their god." The manager fumbled with the computer, pulling up grainy surveillance footage. Lana watched desperately, searching for proof of her innocence. But what she saw made her blood turn to ice. There she was on screen, same blue jacket, same black bag, same dark hair pulled into a ponytail. At 14:28, the figure's hand reached across the jewelry counter when the sales associate turned away. The movement was quick, practiced. The bracelet disappeared into a pocket. "That's not me." Lana's voice cracked. "Look at the hands, I don't wear rings." And the timestamp jumps. It goes from 14:28 straight to 14:30. Someone edited this. Damien Wu moved closer and Lana felt the temperature in the room drop. He studied her with the intensity of someone dissecting an insect. "Edited," he repeated, his tone making the word sound ridiculous. "Yes. I know how it looks, but I'm telling you. You know how it looks." He stepped into her space and Lana had to fight the urge to back away. "It looks like you got caught stealing and now you're trying to talk your way out of consequences." "I didn't steal anything." Lana met his eyes even though fear was clawing up her throat. "I came here to look at a birthday gift for my sister. That's all. I never touched that bracelet. Do you know how many people walk through my properties every day thinking they can take what they want?" His voice was surgical, each word cutting. "Thinking they won't get caught? Thinking if they do, they can cry their way to freedom?" "I'm not crying," Lana shot back, even though tears were burning behind her eyes. "And I won't apologize for something I didn't do." Something flickered across his face, surprise maybe, or anger, but it vanished before she could identify it. "File the police report," he told the manager without breaking eye contact with Lana. "Press full charges. I want to make an example of this." He walked out and Lana felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. The police came. They took statements, photographed evidence, asked questions in voices that said they'd already decided she was guilty. By the time they let her go, no arrest yet, not enough evidence yet, but stay available. It was dark outside and Lana's phone had exploded with notifications. The video was everywhere. Entitled "Thief Caught at Luxury Mall," 2.3 million views in 3 hours. The comments were a nightmare. "She's literally crying fake tears, Lmo. Why do people like this always play victim? I hope she goes to jail. That CEO is fine though." Lana sat in her car in the parking lot and let herself brake for exactly 5 minutes. Then she wiped her face, started the engine, and drove home on autopilot. Her phone rang. Her mother. Lana couldn't answer. What would she even say? At home, her roommate Jenna was waiting in the living room, arms crossed. My parents saw the video. Jenna, I didn't. They want you out. End of the week. The words hit like a physical blow. You know me. You know I wouldn't. I don't know what to believe anymore. Jenna wouldn't meet her eyes. Just find somewhere else to stay. Please. Lana locked herself in her room and opened her laptop. She had to figure out who did this. The footage was edited, she was certain. The timestamp jumped. The hand in the video was smaller, the nails different. Someone who looked enough like her, wearing the same jacket at exactly the right time. Which meant someone planned this. But why? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Sorry about all this. Wasn't personal. Lana's hands shook as she typed back. Who is this? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, reappeared. Someone who needed Damien Wu to notice them. You were just convenient. Thanks for playing your part. What do you want from me? Nothing. Already got what I needed. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame. The number disconnected. When Lana tried calling back, it was out of service. She sat in the dark, trying to breathe, trying to think. Someone had used her. Framed her. Destroyed her life as part of some scheme involving one of the most powerful men in the city. And she had no idea how to fight back. The next morning, Lana lost her job. Her boss at the community center called before she even got out of bed. We can't have someone with your situation, working with children. I'm sure you understand. She didn't understand. She didn't understand any of this. By noon, 2 of her closest friends had stopped responding to texts. By evening, her social media was flooded with threats and insults from strangers who'd never met her but had already decided who she was. By day 3, Lana was surviving on crackers and rage. That's when the second bomb dropped. She was buying discount groceries when her phone started buzzing uncontrollably. Not dozens of notifications this time. Hundreds. Her hands shook as she opened Twitter and saw her name trending. Breaking. Damien Wu's secret affair? Photos surface of billionaire with alleged thief in hotel penthouse. The photos were blurry but devastating. Her in a hotel hallway. Him leaning against a wall, shirt unbuttoned. Her hand on his arm. Both of them entering a room together. Lana's vision swam. She knew exactly when those photos were taken. 3 months ago. She'd been working a catering shift at the Celestia Grand Hotel, trying to make rent. She'd found Damien Wu collapsed in a hallway, clearly drugged or poisoned, barely conscious. She'd helped him to his room and called hotel security. She'd waited 20 minutes until medical help arrived. He'd barely known she existed. Someone had photographed it. Waited 3 months. Released it now when she was most vulnerable. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. Miss Torres. A woman's voice, sharp and professional. My name is Catherine Chin. I'm Mr. Wu's personal attorney. A car will pick you up in 15 minutes. Be ready. I'm not going anywhere. This is not a request. 15 minutes. The line went dead. Lana stood in the grocery store aisle, holding a box of crackers, and realized her life had become something she no longer recognized. The car that picked her up was black, expensive, and driven by someone who clearly knew how to hurt people. Lana sat in the back seat and watched the city pass by, wondering if she was making a terrible mistake. The Wu Industries building looked like it had been designed to intimidate. All glass and steel and sharp edges. Lana followed Catherine Chin through corridors that smelled like money and stopped at a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city she could no longer afford. Damien Wu sat at the head of a massive table, and the hatred in his eyes was almost physical. Sit. Lana sat. Someone is targeting me, Damien said without preamble. Using you to do it. The theft, the photos, this is coordinated. Professional. And I know who's behind it. So do I, Lana said. They texted me. His expression sharpened. Show me. She handed over her phone. He read the messages and something dangerous moved across his face. Marcus, he said quietly. My half-brother. Why would your brother destroy my life? Because destroying you damages me. I'm closing the biggest development deal in company history. If the board thinks I'm unstable, sleeping with random women, making poor judgment calls, having public scandals, they'll vote to replace me with him. He looked at her directly. You're collateral damage in a family war. The words should have made her angry. Instead, she just felt exhausted. What do you want from me? Cooperation. You move into one of my secured properties. You avoid public appearances. You sign an NDA and accept $500,000 in exchange for silence. He slid papers across the table. Everyone wins. Lana stared at the number. $500,000. Enough to solve every problem she had. And if I refuse? Then Marcus wins. The story escalates. Your life becomes hell. And I lose everything I've built. You're asking me to hide. I'm asking you to be smart. Lana stood up. Her chair scraped loudly. I didn't steal from you. I didn't sleep with you. I didn't ask for any of this. And I won't let your family drama erase me. She met his eyes. Find another way to save your company. She walked toward the door. I can prove you're innocent. Lana stopped, hand on the handle. Her heart was pounding so hard she could hear it. What? Damien stood, moving to the windows. The surveillance footage was edited. I've had a forensic team analyzing it. In 72 hours I'll have proof. But if you disappear now, Marcus will spin a different narrative. He'll say I paid you off to be quiet. The truth won't matter. Then what do you suggest? He turned to face her. We go on the offensive. Together. You stay visible. I stay by your side. We control the narrative before he writes it for us. By pretending we're actually together? By showing we have nothing to hide. Lana laughed, bitter and sharp. You called me pathetic. You humiliated me in front of everyone. You wanted to make an example of me. Now you want me to pretend we're allies. For the first time, something that might have been regret crossed his face. I was wrong, he said quietly. I'm asking for a chance to make it right. Lana studied him. This man who'd been her nightmare for 3 days. This man who held her future in his hands. 72 hours, she said finally. That's all you get. The next 3 days were surreal. Lana moved into Damien's penthouse guesthouse, which was larger than any place she'd ever lived. She met with PR teams and lawyers and security experts. She smiled for cameras at a charity gala, pretending to enjoy food she couldn't taste. She played the role of someone who belonged in his world. And slowly the narrative began to shift. Wait, maybe she's telling the truth. That footage does look edited. Why would she risk everything for one bracelet? On day 2, the forensic report came back. The surveillance footage had been professionally manipulated by someone with security system access. Someone on the inside. On day 3, Damien's investigators found the actual thief, a woman Marcus had hired, a former mall security employee. She confessed in exchange for immunity, revealing everything. The planning, the setup, the photos, the coordination. But Marcus had vanished. He's not finished, Damien said that evening. They were in his penthouse, Lana by the window, Damien pacing like a trapped animal. He always has one more move. Always. What kind of move? Every light in the building went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in red. Damien's phone buzzed with alerts. Security breach, he said, voice deadly calm. Stay here. Absolutely not. They moved through the penthouse together, checking rooms, following protocol Lana didn't understand but trusted. Her heart hammered against her ribs. This was insane. She should never have agreed to this. They found the source in Damien's study. Someone had been there. Files scattered everywhere. Computer screens smashed. And on the desk, centered perfectly for maximum impact, a photograph of Lana's sister Maya walking home from school. The message was crystal clear. He's escalating, Damien said, barely controlled rage vibrating through every word. Lana couldn't breathe. We call the police. No. This is kidnapping terrorism. The police can't touch him. Not with his lawyers. Damien pulled out his phone. But I can. How? His eyes met hers and she saw something that scared her more than anything else so far. By giving him exactly what he wants. The meeting happened at an abandoned construction site on the city's edge, one of the Wu properties caught in legal disputes. Marcus had chosen the location, and it was exactly the kind of dramatic setting someone like him would pick. Damien brought Lana. Marcus had demanded it. They found him on the top floor, open to the night sky, nothing but steel beams and empty space. Marcus looked like a dark mirror of his brother. Same sharp features, same expensive clothes, but where Damien radiated control, Marcus was chaos barely contained. Brother, Marcus said, his smile vicious. And the little thief. How domestic. Where's my sister? Lana demanded before Damien could speak. Marcus pulled out his phone, turning the screen toward them. Maya sat in what looked like a warehouse, scared but unharmed. A live stream. She's fine, Marcus said casually. For now. Whether she stays that way depends on what happens in the next 5 minutes. What do you want? Damien's voice was ice. What I've always deserved. The company. The respect. Everything you got just because you were born first. Marcus's facade cracked slightly. Here's the deal. You announce your resignation tomorrow. I take over as CEO. You disappear. And the girl goes home safe. And Lana? Who cares? She was just bait. Marcus shrugged. She can do whatever she wants. I'm done with her. Lana stared at this man who'd casually destroyed her life for a business strategy, and something inside her shifted from fear to fury. You think you deserve to run a company? She said, stepping forward. You can't even handle basic human decency. Marcus's smile faded. Excuse me? You heard me. You're not a mastermind. You're a child throwing a tantrum because your brother got the bigger toy. Her voice strengthened. You want to know why Damien runs the company? Because he doesn't need to kidnap teenagers to feel powerful. Lana, Damien said quietly. A warning. But she was done being afraid. The warehouse where you're keeping my sister, it has exposed beams. Orange safety netting. Water damage on the concrete walls. And I can hear highway traffic from an elevated road. Marcus's expression faltered. There are 3 Wu construction sites that match that description, Lana continued, heart racing but voice steady. One of them is 15 minutes from here. The Riverside Project. Damien's eyes widened slightly before he pulled out his phone. Don't, Marcus started. Too late. Damien had his security team on the line, giving them the location, ordering them to move. Marcus's face darkened with rage. You think you're clever? Even if you find her, you have no proof. No evidence. This conversation never happened. Actually, a voice said from the shadows, we recorded everything. Catherine Chin stepped into the light, holding up a recording device. Behind her, 2 police officers emerged. Marcus went pale. You set me up. You set yourself up, Damien said quietly. You always confess when you think you're winning. It's your fatal flaw. You can't resist explaining how clever you are. The police moved in. Marcus tried to run, but there was nowhere to go on the skeletal building. They cuffed him as he shouted threats and curses. As they led him away, he looked at Damien with pure hatred. This isn't over. Yes, Damien said. It is. 3 months later, Lana sat in a coffee shop she used to love before her world exploded, laptop open, rebuilding her life one application at a time. She had money now. Damien had insisted on the settlement even after everything was resolved, calling it compensation for damages. But money couldn't erase the last few months. Mind if I sit? She looked up. Damien stood there with 2 coffee cups, looking uncertain in a way she'd never seen. Free country, she said. He sat, sliding 1 cup toward her. Her usual order. He'd remembered. How's Maya? He asked. Good. Back in school. Therapy's helping. Lana sipped her coffee. Your lawyers are efficient. They're paid to be. Silence settled between them, heavy with everything unsaid. I owe you an apology, Damien said finally. A real one. Not corporate damage control. Okay. I judged you without knowing you. I assumed the worst because it was easier than questioning everything I'd built my life around. I humiliated you publicly because I thought power gave me that right. He met her eyes. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. Lana studied him. His jaw was tight, shoulders tense. This wasn't easy for him, and somehow that made it real. Thank you, she said quietly. I accept your apology. Just like that. Would you prefer I make you grovel? A smile tugged at his mouth. Would it help? Probably not. Lana closed her laptop. You were awful. But you also proved you could change. You could have sacrificed me to save yourself. You didn't. That's a pretty low bar. Welcome to the real world. He laughed and it sounded genuine. They talked for 2 hours. Not about lawsuits or settlements or family warfare. Just talking. About her plans to go back to school. About his realization that power without humanity was just tyranny in expensive suits. About coffee and sisters and second chances. When they finally stood to leave, Damien hesitated. Can I see you again? He asked. Not as your attorney or your landlord. Just as someone who'd like to know you better. Lana considered him. This man who'd been her nightmare and her unlikely savior. Who'd seen her at her lowest and hadn't looked away. Maybe, she said. But you're buying the coffee. Deal. As Lana walked away, she felt something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. Not the naive kind that believed in happy endings, but the realistic kind that knew life was complicated and messy and sometimes the people who hurt you could surprise you. She didn't know if this was a beginning or just a strange middle chapter. But for the first time in forever, she was okay with not knowing. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Addicted to Stories for more content that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Trust me, you won't want to miss what comes next.